Zach,
What's up, Edward?
how you doing, man?
Man, pretty good. Been on vacation for a little while.
I want to
Hadn't
hear
had to
it.
do too many work things, but apparently now my wife thinks I work for her. So either way, I'm screwed,
Well,
I guess.
when you said I do, that means I'll take the job.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize it was an application for an employment.
Right? Oh, I had to fill mine out online.
Yeah, there's no way that your wife married you based on the way you looked for real. That had to be an arranged marriage.
Absolutely. I think her parents got like half-eaten sandwich, a couple goats.
They got an old school dowry.
Speaking of parents, I've got a question for you.
All right, what
All
you got?
right. So, would you rather watch your parents have sex for the rest of your life every
Oh
day,
God.
or join once and never have to experience it ever again?
So I've heard this question asked before. And the best answer that I have ever heard is I'm watching every day with a cup of coffee in the newspaper. Maybe I'll get some pointers. I don't know.
Dude, I would try to make it to where I'm with you. I would watch, but I would make it to where it'd be so uncomfortable for my parents because I would do live commentary and just criticize every little move, this and that, and be like, "That's a weak stroke game there. You got dad." You know,
You're going to tell him, Dad, we've had small dicks our whole life and you haven't adjusted to it yet. He's like, damn, I thought with 30 years experience on me, maybe you figured something out I didn't know yet.
move out the way. Let me show you. Then you break the curse. So,
Oh my God.
you ready to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hit that music.
Woo!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Two Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports. I'm Ed.
I'm Zach.
And here we are back again. Bro, free agency hit yesterday and it's going crazy. I was ready for free agency, but I was not ready for this.
Well, I mean, I kind of gave y'all a hint a couple episodes ago, telling you that the Patriots were gonna be active.
I don't think they're done.
No, not even close.
They are 12 moves in on free agency on day two. Now, granted, they've also had a trade here or one trade, but like they are spending. They are that mistress that got your credit card that's going fucking nuts right now.
Yeah, yeah. This is like in Pretty Woman with Nicole Kidman. What's her name? Julia Roberts.
There you go.
She gets all the money and she just starts spending money like crazy.
Bro, like Belichick is showing that he's like, I am more than Tom Brady. I'm showing y'all right now. You've said it before. One of your favorite sayings is the unpatriot way, or they're going fucking crazy right now. Like,
Yeah, this is not from the Bill Belichick playbook, but I think they realize that their roster is subpar. I mean, we broke it down. It was pretty abysmal. I mean, but
dude,
now they're going back to the two tight end setup that they used to have with Rob Gronkowski and the guy's name we don't mention anymore.
I am super excited about that because that was one of the most beautiful offenses I've seen in a while, and no defense could really stop it. It was pretty dominant.
No, I mean, because how do you cover a linebacker? How do you cover a tight end? It's basically with a linebacker, and you tell me what linebacker can cover both those guys.
Can't. Now, the question is, you still have some pretty decent wide receivers that are out on the market available. You still got Juju out there. You still got Marvin Jones. You got Kenny Galladay. Like, do they go and pull the trigger on one of these guys?
Man, I mean, I don't know, because doesn't it kind of look like they're going all in?
It seems like Belichick is saying, I've only got a few years left with y'all. I'm going to show you that this is my team. This is my system. It's not Tom Brady. We're not hurting because he left. Dude,
I feel like if I'm Cam Newton, this is like Christmas morning to me.
oh, he's waking up and just covering the room in splooge.
Oh yeah, it's like he woke up and he walked out in the driveway and there's a brand new Porsche out there.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
what? And then 4 seconds later, here comes another one. What the hell?
It's just an assembly line that doesn't stop. Cam Newton, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, I wasn't too excited about, and for what he got, like 3 years
But
for 22 and a half, I'm just, is he really worth that? But it's still a good spot to fill. Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith.
yeah,
I mean,
those are the two I'm most excited about. I love Hunter Henry. He is, we'll say, injury prone, but I mean, you can just go ahead and put it in the bank that he's going to get injured in one game of the season. But Jonnu Smith is a fucking stud.
do you see how much they're spending on tight ends?
Well, I mean, when you saw that offense, wasn't that the most dynamic offense we've seen?
That is true.
And when it made it even more dynamic, they had Randy Moss.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
So I don't want to put any of the free agent wide receivers in the Randy Moss category because, frankly, they just don't deserve to be there.
They're not even on the same yard with them.
Oh no, like yeah, he's in a class. It's like him and Jerry Rice are in a class by themselves that we don't even talk about those guys in any other sentence. And then these free agents, but the free agents are pretty big names.
They complement any team they go to.
I think Juju Smith-Schuster is a game changer for any team, even a team that currently has a number one. Because I mean, think about if you have Devontae Adams on one side, and now you just signed Juju Smith-Schuster. The offense, even though the offense was already great in Green Bay,
it's that much better.
Now it's amazing, right? Or I mean, even in Miami, they have Devontae Parker. Juju Smith-Schuster is automatically better than him. Now you've got Devontae Parker playing number 2 to Juju Smith. Like,
and there's
any team.
The mocks are showing that Miami's going to go with Devontae Smith as well. So like that's 3 wide receivers right there that would probably make Miami one of the scariest offensive teams out there.
Yeah, as long as they can throw the damn football.
That's going to be
they can.
But back to the Patriots. I mean, they are making moves on both sides of the ball that truly make this team very scary now, right? Now, the same thing comes up like when we talked about it before. What Cam Newton are we going to get? And we went into a lot of that on the other episode, but I think that Belichick is trying to build him a team for success. And hopefully Cam just doesn't get premature ejaculation everywhere and just shit the bed, right?
I'm honestly, I'm a closet fan of Cam Newton. Well, I mean, he went to Blinn College, right? So that's kind of near and dear to us. So I'm a fan. And obviously he's a quarterback. He's a quarterback who's won MVP. So I hate to see a guy like him go out where he just basically just gets put out to pasture and they just shoot him in the head. And then
kind of like fizzles out, right?
Yeah.
And then he turns into a player talking shit about everybody else instead of himself.
Right. Like he's too good a player. He's too good a physical specimen to just peter out. Like I want to watch him be himself again, running the football, not giving a shit, doing the dab everywhere, throwing that Superman chest. Like I want to see all that again because I know he's a Patriot and I hate the Patriots, whatever. But when the Patriots are good, or when any team is better than what they were last year, then the NFL product is better, and then we enjoy it more as fans.
I can agree with you on that. I don't know. I think the free agency has just made this very interesting, very exciting. There's also new rumors coming about saying that the Patriots are possibly looking at getting Leonard Fournette now.
I did see that right before we came on. I got the alert. That is incredible. But like going back to who they signed, we didn't even talk about them signing Matthew Judon from the Ravens. They signed him to a 4-year, $56 million deal. That guy is a beast,
dude. They are making. I keep repeating myself because I'm just like so excited about what they're doing. And I'm not a Patriots fan. It's just to see them do something that they don't normally do, and they're doing it right, is what's just giving me goosebumps. Like looking at this team build. Now, the next thing that comes in is not only the draft, but do all of these players jive together?
Well, I mean, I kind of feel like because of the mystique of the New England Patriots dynasty that they've created with Bill Belichick, I kind of feel like they come in like I don't know. It's like they were out at different franchises, and it's like the substitute teacher was there, so they're able to run the roost, And then,
Hmm.
like now, all of a sudden, Bill Belichick shows up. It's like, yeah, now the real man is here. I'm going to run the show. You're going to do what I say. And I kind of feel like they know, hey, if I sign to go to New England, I'm probably going to win a ring. I need to be on my best behavior. I need to act right.
Absolutely.
I need to listen. I need to do everything that I'm supposed to because they've shown they can win without me.
We're doing something kind of different right now because of the fact with free agency being live and everything. Breaking just now, Shaquille Griffin has now signed a 3-year deal with the Jaguars. The Seahawks are shitting the bed right now when it's coming to the free agency. They haven't picked up any offensive linemen. Russell Wilson's sitting there, and it's starting to look like that trade is possibly going to come out pretty soon if they don't start doing something. Because I mean, some of the offensive linemen that were available would have
signed.
They've already signed, right? The only two that I can think of right now that are even worth a damn are the two tackles that the Chiefs let out, Eric Fisher and Schwartz.
Yeah.
But
I think Eric Fisher is a pretty good player. I mean,
agree.
he's definitely going to get a big contract somewhere. I'm not really sure if the Chiefs watched the Super Bowl or if they just immediately put the tape in the trash, but they needed those two guys. I'm not
agree
sure
with
what
you.
they're thinking.
And Eric Fisher was a first round pick for them a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And
2016, I believe.
so he hasn't been around that long. I don't know his history as far as injury. I only know about the most recent since he missed the Super Bowl, and it shows too. You and I've had many conversations about this. If those two tackles were in the game, I still think Mahomes would be running, but not as much as he.
Right. I feel like it was weird. It felt like the Buccaneers were destroying the Chiefs, but because Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback, it felt like midway through the third quarter, they still had a shot because he was able to stay so mobile. And really, he was making deadly accurate throws in like the most acrobatic positions. I don't think any other quarterback had a shot.
There's no way.
Have the team close. And so I think you're right. I think if they would have had two offensive tackles that were worth a shit, it might have been a closer game. I mean, Shaq Barrett is still a beast, but still.
Speaking of Shaq Barrett signed a 4-year deal with Tampa Bay. What we predicted, they actually flipped. They went ahead and tagged Chris Godwin, and then they signed Shaq to a long deal. So, we don't know anything. So if you're coming to us to know shit,
it's not that we don't know.
It's all assumptions, right?
We thought they would sign Shaq Barrett to a long-term deal. We just didn't know if Shaq Barrett would be comfortable signing a 4 or 5 year contract with a team that won't have a quarterback in 2 years.
Well, he looks pretty comfortable with it. I think he's going to be happy with at least one more Super Bowl, and then he's just playing for money.
Well, right, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Looking at the contract, it looked like he thought, well, you know what? If TB12 is still behind center, we'll probably win another Super Bowl. I'll just go ahead and make a little bit of money here, be comfortable, and then I can retire in Florida. Isn't that what old people do anyway?
Yeah.
There you go. How about Bud Dupree's contract?
Dude, the Titans, I think, did an outstanding job on that. And I think so, because you look at where they were at on as far as a rush defense, like they gave up so many yards, and you putting him on that team is great.
But 5 years, $82.5 million.
They're putting all their eggs in the basket on him, man. But again, it's not a one man defense, right?
Right. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're going to tie that much money up. Well, he's an interior defensive linement, right? No, he plays outside the linebacker, I guess. Technically, I don't know. Anyway, the point is, I don't know. I don't know if he's worth that much money.
And you look at what he's done. He played 11 games, then he went down with a knee injury.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
The knee injury scares a lot of people. Any injury really scares a lot of, except Arizona Cardinals. They don't mind spending a lot of money on people who are injured.
Yeah.
But let me bring up his stuff real quick, because he was pretty dominant from what I remember. And then he was that final piece for the Steelers defense. When he went down, that's when they started losing all the games. And I'm not saying it was strictly on him, but it was Devin Bush going down, him going down.
Devin Bush, I think, is a great player.
Absolutely.
I guess this Bud Dupree guy, I guess I have him confused with someone else.
Who's that?
I don't know. I'm looking at. Yeah, see, I don't even recognize this guy.
Really?
That shows you how much NFL I watch of the Steelers. Fuck
Right.
I mean, I really don't have any ill will against the Steelers, but maybe I don't remember him because I just remember from that bouncing around here. Sorry, I just remember from that division. I remember Patrick Queen being the guy, and maybe that's what I was thinking, but I don't know. I thought Bud Dupree played off their defensive line. That's what I was thinking, but I don't know who that is. I'm thinking of. It doesn't matter. Whatever. The point is, based on these websites that I look at and stuff, it kind of looks like the Titans did overpay Bud Dupree. It says, kind of like $10 or $12 million over the length of the contract. So that's not terrible, I guess.
I'll agree. The price tag on him was a little too high for my taste, but I do think it's a great pickup for Tennessee, and that just shows that they are trying to beef up that that rush defense.
Okay, so he technically he doesn't play defensive line.
Linebacker.
He plays an outside linebacker, kind of like a defensive end. I guess they run a 3-4 defense.
Yeah.
Because it says in 2019, he had 11.5 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. So he showed some promise, but then in 2020, obviously he got hurt, right? So there's a little bit difference there. But he had 8 sacks in 11 games, which that's pretty good too. But I think he benefited, obviously, from having TJ Watt on the other side.
Oh, most definitely.
So I don't know who the Titans have on the other side.
I think it was Clowney.
Well, yeah, but he's not.
He's a free agent.
Well, but he's not really a go get the quarterback kind of guy. He's more of a run stopping guy. I remember that was the big issue with him when he was trying to get a big ass contract, and everybody was like, "No, you don't get the quarterback. We can't get those guys."
They got Jaylen Brown, Rashad Evans, Harold Landry III.
That's who it is. Harold Landry III is their other guy.
Yeah,
he's got a motor. I know that for sure, but
it beefs up the defense a little bit for the Titans. It doesn't make them whole. I think they're going to have to draft very smart to complement Bud Dupree. Yeah. And even if there's anybody still out there in free agency that they can get to help complement them, but I'm happy to see him go there. I know Steeler Nation probably wanted him to stay in Pittsburgh, but the price tag still, though, is a little too hefty for my taste.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It feels like they paid a little much for him, but it's possible that there was another team that was bidding for his services as well.
And that had to have been it, right? There had to have been some type of bidding war that got that price that high.
Yeah, either that or his agent is just damn good.
Rumors right now, Washington football team is in talks with Curtis Samuel. What's your take?
Well, I mean, they just signed Fitzmagic.
They did. His 9th team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's because he's good enough, but he's not great.
Is he better than Alex Smith?
Yes. At this point, yes.
Okay.
Alex Smith, the value that Alex Smith has for a team now is just his
knowledge.
Brain. Yeah. He can be a mentor, and he's a good enough guy that everybody's going to like him. He's not going to rock the boat in the locker room. He's going to be the guy that gives you like the bonus stuff. He's not necessarily going to be the guy that pushes a starter for a starting job, But, if the starter does have to come out, he's going to be serviceable, but he's no longer the first round pick that we saw out of college.
What about Corey Davis going to the Jets? Are the Jets going to make more powerful moves to where they start getting some offensive weapons over there?
I think they have to. They only had one wide receiver 2 years ago, and they got rid of him. I don't know if they traded him or if he signed as a free agent somewhere else, but Robbie Anderson was the only guy they even had.
And he shined over in Carolina this past year.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was the only guy there too, so that kind of helped. I mean, they had
Curtis Samuel,
but I mean, not really. I guess DJ Moore too. But
I think I'm more surprised the fact that he's one of the top available wide receivers that came off, with the exception of Allen Robinson, who I still don't understand why he signed the franchise tag. Excuse me, when he was.
I heard he hasn't signed the franchise tag yet.
It's put on the NFL website saying that he signed a franchise tag.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit behind you.
I don't understand that move though, because if I remember correctly, he was
adamant about them getting a quarterback
or leaving. Well, it says he received the franchise tag.
Yeah, I don't think he signed it yet. I think he refuses to sign it so far. I mean, that's the last thing that I read, but I mean, the Jets do have Jamison Crowder, and I mean, you like Denzel Mims, I guess, but they had Rashad Perriman. It was their other wide receiver. He's a free agent, so I would say that Curtis Samuel is definitely an upgrade over him. Yeah, but does this mean that they're going to stay with Sam Darnold, or does this mean that they're
still drafting a quarterback? Unless somebody can bring out a trade for some type of wide receiver or something to help complement Sam Darnold, they're drafting a quarterback, and then they'll give Sam Darnold 2 or 3 games, and if he can't shine, then they're going to yank him and put in whoever they draft.
Well, I'm under the impression that if they draft a quarterback, he's going to start. They're not even going to start Sam Darnold, because I feel like if you're drafting a quarterback, you're moving on from this Sam Darnold guy.
Do you think in any realm, and I'm sure it's been talked about, but do you think the Jets would possibly trade Sam Darnold and the draft pick to Jacksonville just to go ahead and get Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, I think they would. I don't think Jacksonville's.
I don't think Urban Meyer would allow that.
Well, I think Urban Meyer took the job because he wanted to coach Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
So I don't think. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think you can get Urban Meyer on the sideline with all his health conditions and all his issues that he had. I don't think you get him on the sideline unless he gets the guy that he wants.
Right.
And so I think he signed the contract to be head coach on the premise that he was going to be able to draft Lawrence. I think that's what he wants to do. But yeah, I mean, if I'm the Jets and I can get Trevor Lawrence, I mean, personally, I don't like him.
I agree with you.
I don't think that he is the second coming. I don't think he's as good as Andrew Luck was coming out of college. I don't think that he was as good as Peyton Manning or even RG3. You know how the hype that they got. Yeah. Obviously, the career of RG3 is a whole different story. I'm not trying to argue that, but I just don't see it. Everybody talks about Mac Jones. They want to knock Mac Jones because all his wide receivers were wide open. Go back and watch Clemson's film. Those wide receivers aren't wide open. I mean, he's making throws to tight ends with guys that aren't even 5 yards around those guys.
Right.
So yeah, he's great. He can make every throw. I watched his pro day. He's rolling out to the right and dropping 60-yard dimes. I get it. He's doing that in shorts. A lot of guys in the NFL could do that. I'm sure Ryan Leaf did the exact same thing in shorts, right? I don't want to knock the kid because I don't know him. He's obviously talented enough to get drafted number 1 overall, so he's doing something right, but I just don't see it. But based on the NFL hype, yeah, if I'm the Jets and I can trade my number 1 pick in Sam Darnold and they're interested in moving down, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. I don't think that there's any possibility that Urban Meyer wants to give up Trevor Lawrence. There's no way. And if he does, he's going to want a king's ransom so that way he can fix that roster. Because
absolutely, but
I mean, they have a lot of money to spend, but they still suck.
Have you been watching what they're doing?
Yeah, I've seen a few things that they've done. Nothing jumps off the page to me yet.
Nothing really does, but I mean, they're trying. They are trying their damnedest. With 11 signings during this free agency so far, plus putting the franchise tag on Cam Robinson, they're really trying to put a team together for the upcoming QB, whoever it may be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Trevor Lawrence day one. I don't think there's any doubt. I think if you can find anywhere to bet on the number 1 pick and you can put money on Trevor Lawrence, you should do it.
Back to the Jets real quick. I'm going to throw it out there and say that they throw a curveball to everybody and they don't draft a quarterback with the second pick. I think
That's what I hope they do.
I think they're going to go with one of the top 2 wide receivers, the kid from LSU or Devontae
Yeah, I would
Smith.
say Jamar Chase. I could totally see them drafting Jamar Chase. But I have the drawback. The one hesitancy about him is he didn't play last year.
Right, and that's hard to scale some of these players coming off 2020. You have a lot of players that are entering the draft, and you have to go off of 2019 tape and hope that that's still the same, right? Now, I'm not a fan of pro days because they're too scripted for me. I don't like that. To me, that's a waste of time, okay? Anybody can throw a ball to an open receiver and hope that the receiver is the one that makes you or breaks you, right?
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what we've learned about these pro days is that the pro days are not necessarily about the quarterback or the wide receiver or whoever the premier person is.
Right.
What I found out is that it's actually about the complementary players that the guys use in their pro day. So like back a long time ago when like Mark Schlereth got drafted, he was talking about this on his radio show that he was hitting up all the guys that were going to get drafted from Boise. And he was like, hey, let me come to your pro day. Let me be a part of your pro day. And that's how he got his name out there. Now, mind you, when he was drafted in the NFL draft, there was like 14 rounds or something. So he got drafted way late, but he ended up being a 2-time Super Bowl champion, but that's what he says about these pro days and these like the combine. He calls it the underwear Olympics. Basically just everybody running around in tight shorts and tight shirts and trying to show off their six packs and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, what do you really learn? But it's funny to me that he says that, and then that's how he got drafted at the same time. But whatever.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I'm with you. You roll out to the right, throw the ball 60 yards. Okay, roll out to the left, throw the ball 60 yards. All right, cool. You can do that. So can every quarterback in the NFL.
Right. There are a lot of quarterbacks that get drafted in the NFL who have pro days that we don't even hear their names or even give 2 seconds of a thought of.
Right. And those guys, they go on to have long careers in the NFL as backups or third string guys. They make millions of dollars and, they look like David Carr.
Right. There's rumors out now that with Hunter Henry signing with the Patriots, the Chargers are now looking to trade for Zach Ertz.
Ooh.
They've got 2 third-round picks for 2020, and
I don't even think it'll cost that much.
No, some of the reports I was reading was saying it was going to be at least just 1 third-round pick and maybe some money.
Well, yeah, I think it'll end up being one of those like, hey, we'll send you a 3rd-round pick. You send us Zach Ertz and a 7th-round pick. We'll call it done.
I think, matter of fact, that deal right there, I think would be perfect, and Justin Herbert would just be all over that.
Yeah, as long as Zach Ertz can stay healthy, I think he might be a slight upgrade over Hunter Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he has the experience in the league, he's played in a couple different offenses, and just like leadership value. If Zach Ertz can stay healthy, we've seen what he does when he is healthy, and he's a Pro Bowl wide receiver, or a Pro Bowl tight end. So, I mean, yeah, I think that helps that offense, especially now that they don't have Hunter Henry, like you said, and then Tyrell Williams is gone as well.
Signed with the Lions.
Yeah, they're going to need.
I'm thinking of Terrell Williams from Oakland.
Well, whatever. They let him go, and they're going to need some offensive weapons, especially some people that can catch the football. Considering that you have a rookie quarterback that threw for almost 4,000 yards, you're going to want to throw the football. I think that would be a great target. Excuse me. That would be a great target for them in free agency. It'd be a cheap trade because, like you said, they have 2 third-round picks, so they wouldn't even bother them too much.
Yeah. What's your take on some of the silent teams that haven't been doing anything, like the Seahawks, Atlanta?
Yeah.
Who else we got out there?
I think
the Eagles.
I think this puts a little more fire under the Russell Wilson trade.
I think it's going to happen.
It's kind of scary to me.
It's almost like that they're announcing it to the world by not doing anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, we heard you. We just don't give a shit.
So that brings up the draft again. Do we see Seattle trading Russell Wilson to one of these teams that aren't doing anything? Or no, do we see him going to like the Jets and they get Sam Darnold or a pick and every pick for the next 20 years? And
I think he has a no trade clause.
he gets to pick where he goes. And his 4 teams were the Bears, the Raiders, the Cowboys. I don't remember the 4th one.
Well, the Cowboys have a quarterback, so that's not going to happen. I don't think that they're going to do a sign and trade where they sign Dak Prescott and then trade him to Seattle.
It's the NFL, dude. That wouldn't surprise me.
I'm telling you right now, you go ahead and put it on the board. That's not happening.
Oh, I know it's not happening, but the world would fucking explode if that happened.
So yes, that would suck. Well, I mean, so Trent Williams is still available.
Zachary.
So, yeah, there you go. I could tell. I saw your face just like, I was like, yeah, you can't hear me.
Trent Williams, what?
Trent Williams is still available. That is exactly what Russell Wilson is looking for. He wants some offensive line help so he doesn't have to run for his life. Trent Williams is 32, so maybe that's why it's taken so long for Seattle to make a move on him. I've also heard that San Francisco wants him back.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that issue too. So maybe there is a little interdivision fighting there, with San Francisco and Seattle. And so maybe there's a slight bidding war. Maybe that's why we haven't heard anything, because it's very possible that that's their number one target. And so they don't want to go after anybody else because they want to make sure they have the money available for Trent Williams. So maybe that's why they've been silent, because we also haven't heard Russell Wilson come out and start bitching about anything yet either. So maybe he knows they're going after somebody like that as well.
Well, also at the same time, remember when we talked about it before, he was never the one that came out verbally saying, hey, I'm tired of getting sacked. It was his people that came out and said that.
Yeah, I mean, he did say it on a radio show, though, that he thought they should give him some help on the offensive line.
Okay.
I mean, so, yeah, okay, well, maybe you're right. Maybe he didn't say it directly. He didn't criticize the franchise directly, but we all know he's fucking thinking it because, hell, we're thinking it. We don't even play there.
Oh, man. For him, what was he, 3rd? He got sacked, what?
Yeah, like 46 times or something. It was a ridiculous number.
That makes my body ache just thinking about it.
Yeah, you got to think. You play 16 games a season, and you can just go ahead and pencil it in. You're going to get hit 3 times a game by like the biggest dudes in the world. That sucks.
They need to do something and help that kid immediately.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the free agents that are still unsigned. Trent Williams is the number one guy,
of course. And
there aren't really any linemen. I mean, the Steelers lineman, Villanueva.
Yeah.
He's still available. He's also 32, so that's probably why he's still unsigned. But there's not many offensive linemen that are left. Russell Okung, he's 32 also.
Mm-hmm.
He used to play in Seattle. He's got a relationship with Russell Wilson, so maybe that's somebody they look at. But man, I'm going through this list of players. There are some good players that are still out there.
Well, it's only day 2, and it's not as rapid fire as it was yesterday.
I know,
but you even look at it too. Seattle doesn't even have a first-round draft pick this year. So
right. Yeah, that's
what are they banking on?
That's why I think that's what they're banking on. I think they're making a huge play for Trent Williams, because I think maybe that was their number one target of free agency, and they don't want to miss.
They better do something, because if they don't get anything rolling here pretty soon, you can bet your ass that Russell Wilson is packing his bags and he's heading to Oakland. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. I don't know if he's going to Oakland.
I'm calling it. He's going to Oakland.
Well,
no,
I don't think he's going to Oakland. Chicago I could see. Chicago makes sense. They need a quarterback desperately, and I just feel like I feel like John Gruden likes Derek Carr a lot.
Yeah.
and especially after the improved play that he's had the last 2 seasons, I think that he's on track. Because the way John Gruden plays football, he doesn't need Russell Wilson, right? He needs a good quarterback who knows what to do with the football, and he needs an excellent running game, and then he plays awesome defense. That's just what they do. And the Raiders have amassed that. Now, I say that, and then they beat the Chiefs by scoring 42 points. So, every once in a while they can win a shootout, but I just feel like that team is on the rise. I hate to say it because I hate the Raiders, but that team is on the rise.
Let's hope so, right? Because they'll make it a very interesting division if they can keep growing. I still like the move that they did last year with getting Mariota, and I was kind of cringing a little bit whenever there was talks about Mariota going to New England. But in the event that Carr does go down, like Mariota's right there to step up.
Well, Mariota's a free agent, right?
Is he?
I thought he was.
I mean, I'll take your word on it.
Well, I'm asking you, kind of.
Train wreck as usual.
To be fair, I don't know how to spell his name, so
I got you, big dog.
I'm typing as fast as I can.
It's showing him to still be with the Raiders.
Okay. I thought I read somewhere that he was a free agent, or maybe he was coming up in free agency. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah,
what his contract status is. Well, it doesn't freaking list it. Isn't that awesome? Well, whatever. I figured out how to spell his name, so I guess I can figure it out. But
you want to spell it for the people?
Mariota. Mariota.
And that's y'all's learning lesson for the day. So go share that with the world. And if you already knew it, I don't care.
Oh no! I think we froze when that happened.
Oh well.
Your little tidbit of information.
Oh well.
So he signed a 2-year contract. So that's what it is. So he's a free agent next year.
I keep going back to Twitter. I'm waiting to see Galladay signing with somebody. I'm waiting to see Will Fuller sign with somebody. I'm waiting for Juju to sign with somebody.
That's what I'm waiting on, Juju. I don't really care about Will Fuller because I think he sucks. Well, I mean, the dude was only healthy 1 year and he got suspended for PEDs.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Obviously, that guy's going to be broken if you sign him. So I'm done with that.
So on one of the things that we follow on Twitter, it's a NFL trade rumor.co. They're saying that Washington is looking at trying to trade for Sam Darnold.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what Washington is doing kind of quietly. I'm a big fan of Ron Rivera. So that's a good – I mean, he's more of a defensive guy, I feel like.
Right.
He's not necessarily an offensive guru. I think if he could get a really good offensive coordinator, that team would perk up. I really like the wide receiver, McLaurin. I think that guy is a beast.
Yep.
He had, I think he had 1,400 yards receiving last year with almost no one at quarterback.
That is true.
And it was a team that was 7-9 that kind of fell ass backwards into the playoffs. So I think that guy's a pretty good player. I mean, that would be a good place for your Kenny Golladay guy to sign.
That would be pretty interesting. But
did you say that Curtis Samuel already signed, or there's just a
no?
rumor?
They're talking to him right now, trying to get him signed.
Who is New England?
Washington.
Oh, okay. So that's what I was going to say. If they're not going to go after somebody like Kenny Golladay, they could get Curtis Samuel a little bit cheaper. And Curtis Samuel is only 24 years old.
See, I wouldn't even take Curtis Samuel. I think you can get Marvin Jones for cheaper, and Marvin Jones, I think, is better than Curtis Samuel.
Okay, I can go for that.
Marvin Jones is out there too.
But Marvin Jones is older, isn't he?
I think they've got to do something right now because that division is trying to get stronger each day. You have to stay relevant. You can't just be this little flash in the pan. Granted, that entire division was garbage, hence a 7-9 going into the playoffs. But
Right.
you've got to do something to stay afloat, right? You've lost your name, you've lost all your quarterbacks. You're trying to make it, and I don't know.
Well, it's like Coach Cloud always said: if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. You can't stay the same.
Absolutely.
So you're right. They need to go after a wide receiver and boost that offense. Maybe, you know what? Maybe they're not going to go after a Kenny Golladay or a Juju Smith-Schuster because maybe those guys think they're number ones, and maybe they don't want to piss off their number one, who is a bona fide number one.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes more sense. That maybe they don't think they need that much help. And Curtis Samuel fits that role pretty well. Hilton is also available if you're looking at wide receivers. Sammy Watkins is available. Like you said, Will Fuller, he's also available. Hassan Reddick is a free agent who has still not been signed.
I am very surprised by that. I am very. If he ends up in New England by the end of the day, I won't be surprised.
They've spent a ton of money so far,
bro. I looked at the total. Just total, and granted, it's 1 to 4 year contracts all involved on that. But they spent $251.1 million so far.
Yeah, I hate to say I told you so, but
that's bizarre.
I thought they were going to spend money and they were going to do some trades in the NFL draft and stuff. I never thought they would go balls to the walls like this. This is insane.
With seeing this, do you still see into your crystal ball that they're probably going to trade up in the draft? If so, for what? I mean, because they're picking everything right now and just handing paychecks out.
Yeah, but I mean, they only signed Cam to a 1-year deal.
True, but so you look at what they signed around him for 2 to 4 year deals. If he can jive with what they're putting out there, you can probably see a 4-year contract coming to Cam from the Patriots.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, who in the NFL draft at a quarterback position plays kind of similar to Cam Newton?
Justin Fields, maybe?
That's not who I'm thinking of.
Who are you thinking?
Who's the kid from North Dakota State?
No, God, no. The hype for this kid is too much.
You don't think that kid plays like Cam Newton, Trey Lance?
What, loose and not paying attention?
Loose and not paying attention gets you drafted in the top 10.
I guess. I'm not on board with Trey Lance, whatever his name is. I watched his tape.
I'm not either. But I mean, he's being hyped up.
But this goes back to exactly what we said before, is that they're trying to start a fire in this NFL draft to get people motivated to watch it, and you're feeding everybody garbage.
Well, maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's not garbage. Maybe he actually can freaking
maybe
play.
He is, and I don't know anything, which I don't. But at the same time,
we've proven we don't know
nothing. But
look, he's 6'4", 230 pounds.
Okay.
Right. In the offseason, they probably told him, hey, you're probably going to need to beef up a little bit if you think you're going to run the football in the NFL. Cam Newton is 6'4", 245 pounds. So that's pretty freaking similar. And then if they're able to move, I think they're only going to trade for a quarterback, excuse me, if Trey Lance falls. Right? So if he falls, then they might try to make a move, because if he's falling, then, people aren't obviously wanting to draft him. The last mock draft that I saw, people were saying that he was going to be the third quarterback taken, and that was before Justin Fields.
Right.
Which I still don't get, but, whatever. Let's see right here. This has Trevor Lawrence obviously going number 1. I think that's just a lock. We already know that. And then Zach Wilson going number 2. And then Trey Lance going number 3 at Atlanta. What the hell? So I'm with you. I don't think he's worth that. But I don't know how big Justin Fields is. I think he's a little guy. But if Trey Lance falls, I see New England making a trade package and jumping up there to get him.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see Cam as a long-term solution. I mean, personally, I just said earlier, I hope that Cam comes back to who he is. But if he doesn't, if that shoulder doesn't come back, He can't play in the NFL.
He's got to come back and be something if he wants to be taken serious, right? And we covered that pretty extensively on the last podcast.
I think we're both in agreement on that. He has to show something this year.
So, do you ever look at Chris Sims' mock drafts when it comes to quarterback?
I don't like him.
I know you don't, but have you ever looked at his previous ones?
I try not to give him any clicks because he's just not somebody I like.
The dude is kind of on point with some of them, and he put out his 2021 draft quarterback rankings. Who do you think he has as number one?
I'm hoping it's Zach Wilson or it's Kyle Trask.
He's got Zach Wilson as number one.
Well, then, I think that's probably accurate.
2, he's got Trevor Lawrence. 3, Mac Jones. 4, he has Kellen Mond from A&M.
You know what? I did see that run through Twitter, and I immediately scrolled over it like, this guy's a freaking moron.
But you look at some of his previous picks, he's been pretty accurate on the ranking.
No, so he might have been accurate on where they got drafted, but where are they now in the NFL?
Lamar Jackson's a MVP. Josh Allen.
Is Lamar Jackson really an MVP now?
I mean, it's a new year. We'll see.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
You're an NFL GM, right? Let's say it doesn't even matter what team, but let's say you're Detroit. You just made a trade for Jared Goff, and you're the GM of the Detroit Lions. Do you think Jared Goff is your quarterback of the future?
No.
Okay, so we're kind of in agreement there. So Jared Goff is not your quarterback of the future.
I would rather check my prostate with a pogo stick than have Jared Goff as my franchise quarterback.
Well, I mean, that sounds like last Tuesday. But so my thing is, all right, so you're the Detroit Lions. I don't know what pick they have. In my scenario, that doesn't matter. Let's say you have the 28th overall pick. Or let's say you draft wherever you're picking right now, and you don't draft a quarterback because you don't need a quarterback, whatever. You draft offensive line, who cares? Then the team at 31, they come to you and they say, "Hey, we want to trade back and we want to get some draft picks, whatever." Are you going to trade back into the first round to draft Kellen fucking Mond?
I don't know.
Well, because if he's ranking him number 4, then that's where he's going to be drafted at
number
the end
5
of the first round.
Oh no, number 4. You're right.
Yeah, if he's ranking him number 4, he's going to be drafted at the end of the fourth round. I mean, end of the first round.
Yeah.
How do you explain as a GM that, you know what? I'm going to go after the kid from Texas A&M, and I'm going to trade up and get back into the first round to draft it. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. Kellen Mond has a 3rd round grade for a reason. He sucked at Texas A&M for a reason. He is not an NFL quarterback.
And you're about to light up a lot of Aggies right now.
I was going to say, I hope he hears me and he proves me wrong, because I would much rather just be wrong and the guy be successful. I don't like knocking people.
Right.
I just don't see what you saw on film to rank this guy number 4. And like, go and watch Kyle Trask play at Florida and tell me he's not better. He's hands down, he's better.
Yeah.
Right. Go watch Justin Fields play at Ohio State and tell me he's not better. Hell,
yeah,
to me,
that is surprising.
Mac Jones is better. And it's
wow.
I think it's not even close. And especially when you have the top 2 wide receivers at Alabama come out and say that they would much rather play with Mac Jones than play with Tua. And Tua already got drafted in the first round.
No.
Like, that tells me something, you know?
The draft again, and we say it all the time, like it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm not excited about it, but I want to see where these pieces go. I want to see how they form. Now, granted, I don't think anybody in the history of NFL draft has ever come out with a mock draft that hit every single point correctly.
Never. No,
right?
that's why we like talking about it.
It's like the NCAA bracket. Like, there's never been a perfect bracket on file. So, I don't know. Kellen Mond may go in the first round. He may go in the 3rd, 4th round, and whatever.
I think he gets drafted for sure, but I think it's 3rd, 4th round.
So, regardless of when or where he gets drafted, do you think at some point he'd be a starter, or do you think he's just a bench rider from the moment he signs?
Well, I mean, in today's NFL where everybody gets hurt, I'm not going to say that he wouldn't ever start an NFL game. But I don't think that he will ever be any NFL team like, oh my God, I'm glad we have Kellen Mond on our team. He's going to be our starting quarterback going on in the future. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I just don't think his skill set is there. I don't know. I want to say that I want him to prove. I mean, I want him to prove me wrong. Obviously, I like. You know, he went to school in Texas. I don't know if he's from Texas, but I would imagine he is. I always want somebody. Texas. He's from where?
Manville, Texas.
Oh wow, really?
Yes, sir.
Well, that kind of makes me like him a little more. But, I mean, yeah, I want to see a Texas kid do good. I don't want anybody to go and fail in the NFL. Like that sucks. You know,
that so many do.
Right. I mean, yeah, like it happens more than it doesn't happen. Right. There's not always a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning in your draft. So, you know, but I just don't see it. And, you know, Chris Sims was an NFL quarterback, but I mean, NFL quarterbacks, I think, have been proven that they know how to pick defensive players better than they know how to pick offensive players. So
right.
I'm not sure if he knows what he's talking about. I would like to go back and see, you know, his last couple rankings for the last couple drafts and see where those quarterbacks are in the NFL, because I think that'll be a better tell of the tape of how he's doing in picking quarterbacks. But
one of them
Kellen Mond, that's crazy.
One of them I did see was the 2018 one, and at number 5 he had Josh Rosen, and Josh Rosen's a backup for whomever now. But other than that, he had, I think the order went Lamar, Josh Allen, Baker, and I don't remember who the fourth one was.
Well, so out of those 3 quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, which quarterback do you want going forward for your franchise?
I'd take Josh Allen.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and rank all 3 of them.
Okay.
So, Josh, I'm in agreement with you, Josh Allen.
I'm going Lamar too.
No, I'm at Baker. Okay, so then some people are still believers in Lamar Jackson. I just think those people are crazy.
So I was one of the original ones when he was in college. I was like, outstanding college player. He's going to be horrible in the NFL. His first season he came in, he looked pretty good. His second season he did outstanding and won MVP, and then he had a drop-off year. So I don't think that there's enough evidence out there just to go ahead and throw him to the side just yet. I think this upcoming season is going to be something that will show who Lamar truly is, or it's either that or he's still good, but defenses have just figured him out too well.
Yeah, and I think that's more of what it is. I think he was like a gimmick gadget type offense, and unless he learns how to throw the ball from the pocket, he's not going to succeed in the NFL.
Right.
Yes, look, he's a supreme talent. He's probably faster and quicker than Michael Vick was, right? He's probably a better pure runner than Michael Vick. I say all that, but like, you know, it's not that he would be better as like a running back or a wide receiver. That's not the case. I think he's best suited to be a quarterback because he's best making all the plays with the ball in his hand. But unless he improves throwing accuracy and reading defenses and his, you know, like anticipation of guys being open and all that kind of stuff, I don't think he's going to be any good.
Well, I want to say that the MVP title went straight to his head. That's what caused last year to be what it was. But only time's going to tell. I mean, he's got to come out. He's got to step up and be that player that was there in 2019. Because you look at people like Patrick Mahomes, people try to compare the two together, and granted, Mahomes is on a completely different level than any quarterback in the league right now. You didn't really see a drop-off from Mahomes after he won MVP.
I mean, he had a couple bad games,
but
it didn't last the whole season.
But also at the same time, we can't expect Patrick Mahomes to throw 50 touchdowns every season. If he did that, that'd just be bonkers.
Well, it'd be unfair, yeah. I mean, there's only been 3 quarterbacks throw 50 touchdown passes. So,
right.
I mean, yeah, that's not really a feat that can be reproduced every year.
I've got to come back to this just because of the fact I'm looking at the stats and I'm getting more and more pissed off at people. Trey Lance.
Yeah.
How the hell is he even in the conversation? Okay, hear me out. He played 3 seasons.
Okay.
2018, 1 completion, 1 attempt for 12 yards. That's it.
Yeah.
2019, 192 completions for 287. Okay, 2786 yards with 28 touchdowns.
How many
Okay,
interceptions?
0.
Okay, and then what's his completion percentage?
66.9 in 2019.
That's a little low. Okay.
2020, 15 for 30, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Why the hell is this guy in the conversation? Is there something I'm missing? Because if you're going off his high school stats, it's not shown here. I'm baffled. Like, are we pulling
You're
shit?
missing that he's 6'4", he's 230 pounds, he has a rocket arm, and he runs really fast.
Okay, Ryan Mallett had a rocket arm, probably one of the strongest arms that we saw in a while, but the motherfucker couldn't hit anything.
I wouldn't say he had the strongest arm we've seen in a while, but he didn't have a strong arm. I mean, that's basically all he had. Because to me, Jamarcus Russell had one of the strongest arms I've ever seen.
Yes.
And he was complete garbage.
I hate that I'm wasting breath on Trey Lance. I hate that we're talking about this.
But this is what happens. Remember when Blake Bortles got drafted number 2 overall? How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
It's because all of a sudden they took all the pads off, they started measuring people, and they're like, oh my God, he's got, well, I don't know about that, but his girlfriend was pretty hot at the time.
Giggity.
But he turned out he was 6'5", 225 pounds, rocket arm, huge hands. Like, they thought, man, that's all we got to do. We just got to measure these guys, and we know exactly where they're going to be. Well, he sucks. So it could be that Trey Lance is another one of those guys.
I'm still a firm believer that they're trying to hype this into something because they've noticed over the past couple of years that quarterback talk coming into a draft is what makes the draft popular, right? Because
100%.
you don't want to hear about offensive linemen. You don't want to hear about defensive linemen. You rarely get excited about safeties or secondaries or anything like that. Wide receiver, when running backs are in there, I would say that's almost about as even when it comes to quarterback talks for draft. But you're not really getting much of a running back talk this season. There's 2 wide receivers that everybody's talking about. So, I mean, outside of that, all right, what else can we try to draw people into? Oh, let's find this kid from North Dakota State because that's where Carson Wentz came from, and look how he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. And I told you, I'm not a big fan on any quarterback in this draft that is not named Kyle Trask or Zach Wilson.
Right.
So, based on that, I think I don't want to say that these guys suck. They're just not who I would be targeting. I think that they're flash in the pan type guys. I mean, so I'm scrolling through some stuff on my phone, I found a CBS mock draft from yesterday that I thought was pretty interesting. If you want to kind of go into it a little bit.
Okay.
It says 5 quarterbacks, 5 cornerbacks, and 7 offensive linemen go in the first round. And it has some interesting trades that they're predicting.
Hit me with them. So
the first trade is the 49ers trade up to number 3 with Miami. The Dolphins would get the number 12, 103, and a 2022 first rounder. So that the 49ers could trade up to number 3 and draft Justin Fields. So they have Trevor Lawrence going number 1, Zach Wilson going number 2, Justin Fields going number 3. So 3 quarterbacks
boom,
in
boom,
the
boom.
first 3 picks. So then, because Justin Fields gets drafted number 3, that puts the Falcons to draft Sewell from Oregon, the offensive lineman that I think is a surefire Hall of Famer if he just stays healthy.
That's a pretty bold prediction.
Well, I mean, I think he's that damn good.
Wow.
And then because Sewell's gone at number 4, that means that the Bengals take Kyle Pitts at tight end at number 5, which I'm not believing that's going to happen. Your quarterback of the future just got busted up because nobody could block, and you're going to take a tight end. Okay. So, all right, we both disagree with that. I can take, by the disgruntled look on your face.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's out there. I mean, they also have some other trades in
Hold
there
on. Where'd you say this was from? CBS?
CBS.
Okay, yeah, they still smoke crack.
Apparently, but they also say Washington trades up to number 9 with Denver. The Broncos get the number 19 pick, the number 51st pick, and a 22 third rounder. And then it has, let's see, Jamar Chase goes to the Eagles, Micah Parsons to the Lions, which is a good pick. Mac Jones going to Carolina at number 8.
I'm not mad about that.
And then it has Washington trading up with the Broncos to number 9 to draft your favorite, Trey Lance.
I'm just not even going to. I'm not even going to touch that.
I think it's dumb. I'm with you. It also has the Jets trading up with Minnesota to get number 14. And then the Vikings get the 23rd pick, the 66th pick, and the 147th pick. So let's see. There goes Caleb Farley to the Cowboys. Yeah, they need that. Rashawn Slater, the second best lineman, to the Giants. That's a good pick. Jalen Waddle. This is their trade with San Francisco. They're picking Jalen Waddle. The Dolphins are. That's a pretty good pick, I think.
Who wrote this one?
That's a good question. It is Ryan Wilson, whoever the hell that guy is.
Ryan Wilson is one of their top analysts over there.
I think he's pretty good, actually. Then it's got the Jets trade up with the Vikings to get Devontae Smith at number 14.
Does he really think Devontae Smith is going to be around that long?
Well, yeah, he has Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle going off the board way before them. It's only pick 14. I think he'll still be available then.
I'm still baffled by
if Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle go off the board first, obviously.
I'm still baffled. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
No, that's cool. It has Azeez Ojulari going to the Patriots at number 15.
He's probably changing that now.
Well, yeah, this was yesterday, but I mean, I still think that's a good pick. A great linebacker. So, I mean, I like that. Patrick Surtain going to the Cardinals. So I guess that means that Patrick Peterson is done in Arizona.
He's still a free agent.
I mean, I guess means that he's just assuming they're just going to move on from him. Raiders get Christian Barmore, defensive lineman. The Dolphins get Jalen Phillips, defensive lineman. And the Broncos draft J.C. Horn at number 19. I don't know if he'll be around that long, but, I mean, if he's available at 19, that's a hell of a pick. Plus, you still got the other draft picks you traded with.
Yeah.
Christian Darrisaw, offensive lineman for the Bears. That's a good pick. There's Cosme going to the Colts. Jesus
my God. If he makes it all the way down to the Colts, that O-line will be unpierceable.
Wow, that'll be unbelievable. Can you imagine? We've been talking shit about Carson Wentz, but can you imagine if he doesn't ever get hit? Jeez.
That O-line with Cosme would be pretty stout. And if the rumors are true and the Colts are actually going out for Trent Williams, or not, yeah. But that would mean you'd have to get Cosme to be a right tackle. And, I mean, granted, I don't see a problem with that.
No, not at all.
No.
I think that sounds freaking awesome, right? Or you put the rookie at left tackle and have Trent Williams be on right tackle with all his experience.
Yeah.
And have him teaching the youngster on how to actually, that I don't know. That sounds freaking great to me.
If Cosme makes it down to the Colts, I might be a Colts fan.
Nah, I doubt it. But you said that you would be a Texan fan for life.
I am.
And then you said, well, if they don't fire Bill O'Brien, I'm never going to be a fan of this team.
I did say that.
Fired him. Of course, they did a bunch of other crazy ass stuff.
I'm still a fan.
Then it has Kwity Paye going to the Titans for defensive line.
Fetty Wap?
Yes. Then Levi. I don't know how to say his last name. Washington defensive lineman going to Minnesota. Tevin Jenkins, offensive lineman, going to the Steelers. I like that pick.
Who's that?
That's Pittsburgh drafting Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
I like that pick. And then the Jaguars trading back into the first round to get a defensive back from Northwestern, Greg Newsome. I'm not a big fan of that one. That's a good pick. The Bears at number 26, Trayvon Moehrig.
The Bears?
No, the Browns.
Okay.
That is a hell of a pick there. That safety is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are ranking him in their top 10 players in the entire draft. So I like that pick. Then Rashad Bateman, wide receiver from Minnesota, going to Baltimore. I like Rashad Bateman. He's a pretty stout player. He's good at 50-50 balls. He can jump. He's fast. He's only 6'2", but he's 210 pounds, so he's going to be good in the middle. That's a good wide receiver there. Then the Saints, Tyson Campbell, cornerback out of Georgia. Zaven Collins for Green Bay, linebacker out of Tulsa. They need a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I don't really see anything crazy. The last pick of the first round, Travis Etienne from Clemson going to Tampa Bay. So I guess that means the end of Leonard Fournette in Tampa Bay. I don't think they need Leonard Fournette, to be totally honest. He was a complimentary piece. And I like the running back they have already.
Yeah, Ronald Jones.
Yeah, he's damn good. He
So-
does need a complimentary piece. So I will say that's probably a good pick. But anyway.
Was that the first running?
Crazy.
Was that the first running back in this mock?
Yeah.
Wow.
Travis. Well, he's the best running back in the.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it right now. The complete mock that you just went through. I don't agree with Swell at Atlanta.
Okay.
I don't agree with
either, but
Pitts at Cincinnati. This is
Definitely
why,
not.
as soon as you said, like at first when you brought up Swell at 4, I was like, I get it, but Matt Ryan is like, is he worth buying an O lineman this early when you can get a possible other quarterback? Again, though, I don't like any of the quarterbacks that are coming into this one, so maybe they're on the same page as me. But then when you brought up Kyle Pitts to Cincinnati, I'm just like, you're brain dead. All right.
Yeah. That's the stupidest pick I've heard. Now, don't get me wrong. The kid is great.
Right.
That's not the problem. The problem is that that's not your number one need.
No.
You need offensive line help now.
I totally agree with you on that. And I don't, if anywhere, I see Swell going to Cincinnati. I see
100%.
him.
That's exactly where I think he's going.
I 100% with you on that. I see him going there. Does San Francisco trade up for Justin Fields? That's very interesting because, Jimmy G, we've talked about it plenty of times, and I'm sure the listeners are tired of hearing it too, but like San Francisco is pretty much telling Jimmy G, you're not our quarterback and we're already looking for a replacement or trading you. That's an interesting thing to do. I just don't know if Justin Fields is the one you want to trade for.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's a good player. I don't think that he is a – he's going to get drafted like a franchise quarterback because that's just what happens. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. That being said, obviously I hope he proves me wrong. I hope that all these guys succeed. I know they're not all going to, but that's just what I hope. But I feel like if I have that shot there, I'm not going to trade up for Justin Fields.
Right.
I feel like there are better quarterbacks that you can get later on in the draft. And I just don't see this guy being I like Mac Jones more than I like Justin Fields.
I'm with you on that. And I'm not even that big of a fan of Mac Jones.
No.
I'm still a firm believer, and I think there's a lot of people out there, and we've probably even said it before, is the fact that he had the right pieces around him to make him look good.
Yeah.
So
I feel like of the 5 quarterbacks that we talked about, I feel like probably only 2 deserve to be drafted in the first round.
Okay.
I think Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are the only 2 that have, absolute first round grades. Now that's not what's going to happen,
Right.
because quarterback is that sexy position that everybody wants to try to get the next franchise guy. Because frankly, they're so important to your team. But yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of teams they're going to reach, and these guys just aren't worth a first round pick.
I don't know. We got the draft next month. We'll have
Yep.
more to talk about it. And free agency still going on. Trades are still going on. We're still going to have more to talk about.
Yeah, we still have to break down the NFC East.
I don't think
I
we're
was
going to
going to
get
say,
there.
I think it's hilarious that we started the NFC. We broke down 2 divisions, and then we knew the next division was the Cowboys division, and I knew we were going to find a reason to not talk about the Cowboys.
And it's not that I don't want to talk about it. It's the fact that the NFL is going crazy right now.
It is going crazy. I mean, I'm picking on you a little bit because I know you hate talking about the Cowboys.
You know the one thing we didn't talk about?
What?
Drew Brees.
Oh my God.
Drew Brees is gone.
Yeah. Hey,
And
Drew Brees.
hats off to you, sir.
Congratulations on a great career, Super Bowl champion.
I know
New
he's a big
Orleans.
fan of the podcast.
He has to be.
He
He's got to love us.
He's kind of annoying because he hits us up on Instagram all the time, and I'm like, dude, chill
I
out.
get texts at like 2:15. He's like, "Hey man, I'm out at the club." I'm like,
Right.
Man, I can't do that. I'm married, man. What's the matter with you?
Good for him, man.
I mean, great career, excellent leader, hell of a guy off the field. He's done so much for New Orleans.
Absolutely.
I mean, I still remember watching him get injured, separating his shoulder and basically like breaking his arm off. I remember all that.
Yep.
And, strength and determination that guy has, he's unmatched.
So
that is unbelievable what he was able to do and then still have a career like that as a quarterback.
So if you're Drew Brees, you're contemplating playing another season or retiring and going to Monday Night Football. You go ahead and say, I'm retiring. You have this amazing legacy in New Orleans, right? Who's following you up? They just signed a 1-year deal with Jameis Winston. They still have Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Like, are you okay with that? Like, apparently he is.
But what is he going to do? You expect him to play another season if he doesn't want to?
I don't know, but
I think when guys retire, I don't think they give a shit about what the team is, or maybe he wants to retire and then the team falls off and he's like, you see, it was all me. I mean,
he doesn't have to retire for everybody to know that. We saw it whenever he had a thumb injury this past season.
Well, no, didn't they go like 4-1 without him?
I don't know. I thought they lost like 2 games because of Taysom Hill.
Well, I mean, Taysom Hill sucks. Like, I think we're both in agreement with that. He's a terrible quarterback. But somehow that dude restructured his 4-year, $140 million contract.
They're under the cap now, aren't they?
I mean, probably.
If they did that is better than any weight loss before after photo I've ever seen.
Drew Brees, by him retiring, he saves
$22 million.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a hell of a change there. So, but I mean,
I can't wait to hear him on Monday night though.
Yeah, like I'm excited to hear that, to hear his insight, because to me it's kind of like, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or like those type guys joining the booth, because we saw how good Tony Romo is. I mean, we have a different perspective on how Tony Romo was as a quarterback in the NFL, obviously, but as a commentator,
is outstanding,
he is phenomenal.
Now, now granted, this was of course ABC's way of punching back at CBS for getting Tony Romo, right? Of course. After word got out that Tony Romo and his commentary was amazing, like that boosted up CBS's ratings as far as games being watched, probably.
Yeah.
So the same thing's going to be done with Drew Brees on Monday night. So.
Oh yeah, he's going to have a draw for sure.
Looking forward to that. And Mr. Brees,
he's a Texas guy, so hey, love you, dude.
Hey man, we're glad you're one of our listeners.
Oh yeah.
Spread the word though, man.
Appreciate having somebody like that like our podcast.
Before we go, you want to learn a new sport? I don't know if it's a new sport, but it's new to me. Okay.
It's probably not new to the world. You're going to talk about it and people will be like, yeah, we play that on the weekends.
Oh yeah. I guarantee you. So I'm gonna.
What's it called?
It's called reg ball. Yeah,
Reg? Like
reg.
RE? Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out. There it is. Okay. So here we go.
Oh shit.
Um,
I already like the uniforms.
all right. So it's
Are they
basketball,
fucking wrestling?
wrestling, football indoors.
What the hell?
I know the video quality sucks, and those of y'all who are watching this on YouTube, yeah, you're getting a show right now.
Is he dribbling at all?
No, these are grown men. Look at these guys down at the bottom, like
Wow.
grown men wearing unis or
Kinda looks like
onesies.
rugby too.
Yeah, it's like a rugby basketball.
That guy sucks. Oh wow, that's pretty good. He missed a wide open layup.
So this is in Russia. I mean, look at that.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say the guy. I can't read his name on the back of his jersey. It's got to be like Ukraine or something.
That might be referee on the back.
Yeah, I don't speak Russian.
But I'm assuming this is at one of their major stadiums.
Is it a basketball or is it like an
I think it's like a high school
weird.
gym.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the ball. It looks like a
Oh,
basketball.
I don't know, but I'm not seeing it bounce much.
It's rolling weird too. So
I'm wondering. It looks like a rugby basketball. Oh,
yeah. Whoa. Well, so what are the rules? We don't know the rules yet.
wrestle rules, basketball rules, and rugby rules all mixed in one. They threw it into a blend. It's from Russia. What do you expect? Like,
Well, I mean, I'm shocked they're not like drinking vodka on the sideline.
and I was wondering too, like, do
Why
they?
don't this guy shoot the ball? What are you doing?
That's got to be a weighted ball, right?
It has to be. Well, I don't know. That dude shot a 3.
Hey, look at that.
This is insane.
Yeah, this came across, I think TikTok, and I immediately had to look it up. I thought it was just a made up game. No, this is a legit thing that has been going on for some years now.
And it's called reg ball.
Reg ball, REGBALL.
Weird. Yeah, I definitely don't want to play it because it makes my knees hurt just watching it.
Oh man, so yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy looking.
So next week we'll go over our reg ball draft, and
Now we're gonna start a reg ball fantasy league.
oh man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this episode of Two Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports. You know, you can always follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much every social media network out there. We're continuing to grow. Please continue to like, follow, and share. We truly appreciate it. We truly appreciate all the feedback.
Yeah, please share. You know, talk to your friends at work about us. Let them know, hey, look at these two idiots. Once they watch one video, like
They're
we know
hooked.
they'll be hooked. So just get them to follow us and like and subscribe on YouTube. You know, we're not doing this for money. We're not trying to make anything off of it. We just want to have fun and you know, talk to each other on Facebook. So I mean, maybe we can get some arguments started. Maybe we can get some people yelled at. We can get some blocks. We can get all kinds of stuff. Like we like just to mix it up.
You know, it's funny too, because I don't know about you, but I know I've received some phone calls, some text messages and stuff like that to where people don't agree with what we've brought up. And some people have brought up pretty valuable points as far as what we've talked about. And I love every minute of it. I don't get mad at them. I'm not arguing with them on it. I'll bring up my points. They bring up theirs. And that's what this is all about, right?
I just want to hear different perspectives. I just like talking sports. I just don't care. I don't care what your opinion is. I mean, I might tell you you're stupid, but I just like having the conversation, just hearing different perspectives, different ideas, different takes on things. It's great. I love it.
We do appreciate all you listening and all you new ones listening. Welcome. Enjoy the ride. This is Two Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports. I'm Ed.
I'm Zach.
Adios, assholes.